When you come in for your intro session, you're going to do a baseline assessment. During the baseline assessment, you're going to row 500 meters, do 40 air squats to the ball, 30 sit-ups, 20 push-ups, and then 10 pull-ups. Now, we're going to scale this based on your needs. Some of you will be doing a jumping pull-up or a ring row. Some other people will be doing push-ups on their knees or something else, or we'll cut the number of reps. What it looks like is this, is she'll have rowed 500 meters, she'll dismount, go ahead please, and then she'll do a couple of squats. Imagine that she's just done 40 air squats. Weights in the heels, chest is up, push your knees out at the beginning. Step over here, place your feet underneath the dumbbells. She's going to interlace her hands behind her head, elbows are going to touch the ground, elbows are going to touch her knees. A couple of reps. This is what you're going to be doing as part of your baseline assessment. Then flip over to your belly for push-ups. Whole body comes down and up. Now, if you can't physically do a push-up, she can put her knees on the ground, lower her body down, elbows in tight to the body, and up. You don't have to worry about your feet. Now, the other thing we're going to do is a pull-up, and we have different ways of scaling it. You can come in regardless of your fitness level, and we can scale this workout to meet your needs. And what the purpose is to get a baseline, in other words, a data point on what your fitness is right now. We use a Concept 2 rower as a regular part of our training, and we use it in a lot of different ways. But ultimately, when you first come in, we use it as a warm-up for your intro session, and then for each one of the sessions afterwards, you'll do some rowing at the beginning to warm up. We find this an excellent conditioning tool. But like everything else we do, it requires technique. So what I'm going to do with Caitlin is I'm going to walk her through the basic setup on technique and how to do a row. I'm going to have you imagine that the handle is somewhere between your belly button and sternum. Go ahead and imagine it. The first part of this is to push your hands away. Then the knees are going to come in. Come on in, forward. She's going to push with her legs, and then she's going to lean back and pull with her arms. She's going to think about this as 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's hard to do with that. She's been an experienced athlete, so it's hard to have her relax a second. Have her do this without a handle in her hands. A lot of times when we're doing the intro sessions and we're teaching you how to do it for the first time, we're going to make sure that you're doing things correctly, and we'll do it without any load. And the big thing is for us is a core to extremity movement. We want to see the hips move, then the arms. So we radiate from core to extremity. So reach, grab the handle please, and go ahead and straighten it up. A lot of times we'll have the athletes go ahead and stay there, pull it in. So 1, she'll push the handle forward and lean forward. 1, push the handle forward and lean forward. Then her follow with her knees, then drive with her legs, and then pull with her arms. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll hear this, and you'll see a lot of things on the monitor where I want you guys to think of nice and smooth, a good sequence of action. What we're looking for on a pull-up is she's going to jump up on the bar and get her chin clearly above the bar, and then come all the way down. Go ahead, please. And down. That will be a pull-up, and come on down. If somebody's not able to physically do it, a lot of times what we'll do is this thing called a jumping pull-up. The idea is to be able to go through the full range of motion and get a similar stimulus without having to change a whole lot of the workout. So what she'll do is she'll reach up, she'll step on the box, reach your hands past it. So when you set up on your box, so that this thing should be about mid-forearm, then grab the bar. She's going to bend her knees until her arms are straight. She's going to jump her chin above the bar and come right back down nice and quick. And this is a way for people who have never done a pull-up, thank you, who've never done a pull-up to scale it to be able to do it. And that's important because no matter what's on the board, when you walk in, we can scale it to meet your needs. One of the things you're going to learn as a new athlete is what we call 30, 20, and 30 with bands. What we want to do is practice and re-practice basic movements. That would be a squat, a rollout, and a shoulder, an overhead squat. And what will happen is that as time goes on, you'll master it. Let me point out a couple of factors here. Weight, heels should be underneath the shoulders, toes angled out slightly. We use a ball a lot of times, especially for new athletes, so that they know where their depth is going to be. So what's going to happen is James is going to push his knees out and hips back and down. Go ahead, just James, for right now. Notice he's got this band down here. It's going to help get his hip rotators a little bit stronger. And stand back up, please. And down. He's actually pretty, go ahead, please. He's pretty deceptive because he moves pretty well, and these people are in the demos for a reason. But understand is, and stand back up, please. Now let's have you face that way, please. Now do the same thing. I want you to notice that the back stays nice, hard arch in the back, the weight's in the heels, the knees are tracking over the toes, head remains nice and neutral, and stand back up. The reason why James is in the video is because he moves real well. He's a great example for others. So is Caitlin and Lynn. And so what you'll see is a lot of drilling where we'll teach and reteach the basic movement. This is 30, 20, and 30. Going to drive your knees out and hips back as a group, please, and down. And up, push your knees out a little bit more at the beginning. If you shoot your knees forward, it's not the right thing to do. Push your knees out and down. There we go, and up. Nice job, folks. You'll see 30 repetitions like that. The next piece, go ahead and pick up your PVC pipes. This is a rollout or a shoulder dislocation. This is super common for Olympic weightlifting. What it also does, it starts to work on some of the flexibility in the shoulders. James is going to go a little wider than you normally do because James is very flexible. All these people are pretty flexible. So I want you to just keep your arms locked straight and pass all the way through and all the way back. And believe it or not, as a new person, you're going to struggle with this. Some of you guys that sit at desks a lot, your shoulders are going to be super tight. So I want to think of passing through. Go ahead. And back. The next piece will be an overhead squat. After you've done 20 repetitions of a pass-through, this is going to be midline over the body. I want you to think about this as directly over your ears. Go ahead, please. Now, the same sequencing that you just had for your squat, where the knees go out and the hips go back, that's where we want to go. And that bar should stay straight up over the ears and over the midfoot and down and up. Notice that Caitlin comes forward a little bit more than the rest, but guess what? That's okay. And down. James and Lynn keep a very vertical torso, which is pretty much optimal. Pretty much optimal. And down and up. So part of your, go ahead and relax, people. Part of your warm-up will be doing 30 of those basic squats, 20 rollouts, and then 30 overhead squats.